been expecting you. Have a seat. I know what you came here for. Cut the deck for me. Let's see what your future holds. Oh, the tower. Wonderful
dangerous.
card. Yes, it can be dangerous, but let's see. Death! Okay, no. Don't tower dive in the next week in solo queue. It's not gonna go well for you. Next up, the Ace of Pentacles.
Pentakills?
Yeah,
Okay, now we're talking.
Super, super rare that it manifests itself for a jungler, so
okay.
You're very lucky. And let's see, pineapples, strawberries, fruit. Oh, it all makes sense. The Becco Power Blender. You're gonna have a smoothie tonight.
A smoothie tonight? I love smoothies so much, I can't wait to get... Whoa. Hang on a second. I came here to know who's going to win the LEC finals.
Oh, that's what you want to know. You can just not wait until Sunday. I'll see what I can do.
Mad Lions will find the win. And Rogue will take
Oh my God, powers, they're pulling me in every direction. I can't tell, it's so much coming at me at once.
You can't do it?
It's too close to call, I can't call, it's too close.
You can't?
I really tried, but I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Hello? Yeah, it's me. No, he walked straight into the trap. Yeah, has no idea. So gullible. I think I'm gonna go home and work on the monologue for this weekend. Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
To Berlin, Germany, and the LEC Summer Final. It's been one hell of a road for Fnatic. That's why they needed a car. And tonight they're making the final sprint of their marathon, looking to go through the lower bracket all the way to their 8th LEC title. But that trophy is currently in the hands of these Mad Lions. And to take it from them, Fnatic need to climb even higher, all the way to the top of the mountain. These teams have given us some amazing moments in the summer playoffs so far, and tonight they are going to lay it all out on the Rift. I'm Sjokz, joined by Drakos and Ender for the final day of the LEC of 2021. Wow.
Wow. Wow. G2's dead. It's been a crazy year. I don't think I need to say anything more than that.
Everyone else is dead except
everyone else is dead.
Fnatic and Mad Lions.
Oh, lots of death.
It's been so crazy. Yeah, but it's going to get even crazier today, hopefully, right? Let's take a look. Yesterday, of course, Fnatic won their 4th best-of-5 series in a row to make it here to the LEC Summer Finals. There, of course, the Mad Lions await the reigning LEC champions and the toughest challenge Fnatic have faced. For Fnatic, though, this is absolutely nuts what they've done in the lower bracket so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all learned everything we possibly can about climbing mountains from this Fnatic story alone. The tenacity that they've shown here is absolutely stunning. I'm blown away that they have played so many games in a single playoffs run.
18, same as regular season, and it's also just super cool to see a finals that's a best-of-5 that we haven't gotten the first matchup, right? This is the first time they're facing. Neither team has lost a best-of-5 going into the finals, which has never happened before in the LEC. So I just feel like we've gotten to see so much from both of these two teams. We've gotten to see a lot of the good stuff, and that's what they're bringing today for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Fnatic, they can take their first title since 2018, and they can tie G2 on 8 titles. And Mad Lions, they can win the back-to-back, the newest champions versus the oldest champions we have here in Europe. And, you know, winning the championship back-to-back is a very difficult thing to do. You have to peak exactly at the right time, so it would be a phenomenal bout from the Mad Lions.
For sure. I mean, you know what they say, those titles start to stack for sure. And, and honestly, in all honesty, I think it's super important for this team that has been on the up and up for a while now. You know, last year made it to Worlds as a team with a lot of fresh face, a lot of young players on that roster as well. And it's now proving that it's not just a one-off. It's not an alliance situation where they win one title and then drift out of the minds of a lot of fans in Europe. Winning 2 in a row, going to another Worlds after doing well at MSI too, it's huge for them.
And we have such a history of teams just being dominant domestically for such an incredibly long time. G2 and Fnatic, obviously names that are always going to come to your mind. The sheer amount of titles they've won is insane. And is Mad Lions the third team in that list? Winning today kind of starts to cement them in that discussion. And again, sadly, we're just keep bringing up Alliance in a negative way, but or are they Alliance, the one that kind of messes up the aesthetic of the trophy wall?
Hey, maybe they come back, you know, and they reclaim that back-to-back title. We'll see. 2 teams that have looked unstoppable. I think if we pull up the bracket, it's really crazy, as you say, that they haven't dropped a single best of 5. And Fnatic, as we heard from Yamato as well, they're at the top of the mountain. That's been their mantra. I, for one, have watched a lot of mountain documentaries, you know, about K2, about Mount Everest. A lot of them, those include disasters, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, but well, outside of Rogue, it feels like we've kind of avoided disaster this weekend for Fnatic. We'll see if it repeats itself.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough out there.
Yeah, it stopped at base camp, they did, unfortunately.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, at the first hurdle, unfortunately. But for Fnatic, together with Kia, we're highlighting outplays sent in by our wonderful fans. And in this one, Auken was truly the master of shadows.
Ooh. We ask you to submit your most epic moves. And the winner is Aokun.
Aurelia versus Zed, 1v1 in the mid lane, level 8, blade surge back. Aurelia trying to find purchase, Deathmark comes out, but the flaws duo will not connect. It's a clean flash, it's a clean dash back. He's moving everywhere across, and Aurelia can't touch him. Aokun makes the play.
Kia, movement that inspires.
That is some of your best work.
You like that?
Yeah.
Well, I like that this clip is from a year that's not this year because there's a Bilgewater Cutlass. So shout out to him. He's like, I'm going deep into my personal and he won. Sick play, Aokun. Love to see it.
Yeah, well done. Let's see then what we have up on the docket tonight. We are closing out the LEC 2021 season. So we're going to take some time to look back at everything, starting with those statements that just didn't age well. Yeah. I love these. The first one, Ender tweeting, or actually making a video, drama queen. I have come to the incredibly difficult decision to leave the LEC. Fake news.
I remember you were sitting in front of your desk. You're like, guys,
I did the big sigh.
This is hard. I never thought, you know, and here you are.
Yeah.
In this off again, on again, Star Wars drama boy relationship.
Okay, look, I'll take the Star Wars. I'll take that absolutely. We're decked out in the Sith apprentice time. I left though. I did.
Yeah,
that did actually happen. So it aged perfect. I just also came back.
Also, actually, it aged super well. But you also came back so it can age again now when you leave again.
Yeah.
Right?
And then come back, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, we miss you. Another thing that didn't age well was Wonder's Yuumi pick. Background on this is there were scrims of K-Core. Of course, the EU Masters champion, Adam versus Wonder, and Wonder picked Olaf. Adam picked Olaf. Wonder said, you know, waste my time with this, I'll pick Yuumi. I'll never run into this in competitive. Fast forward to the best of 5 they played.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly embarrassing, and I'm sure he's very sad to see these scrim records hit the light of day. But hey, if you're gonna troll like this, if you're gonna waste other people's time, you kind of gotta put your money where your mouth is.
I'm gonna say it looked like Wonder was playing Yuumi in that best of 5 in a lot of those matchups. It was.
I feel kind of bad, right? Because they lost already. And the thing is, I love that the players on G2 are so outspoken. This may be not the best example. The next one is a good example, though. He tweeted, Wonder tweeted, I'm so happy for Vizicachi making his return on Mad. Him and Armut have a lot of similarities as well. Oh, so far, so good. Maybe they will talk about all the times I've smacked them around and find a way to limp through the series this weekend. Now, this I like. This is banter. Right?
Is this just all G2 and getting them?
This is like the Wonder Flame Power Hour.
Yes.
Because I also like, if we're going to stay on the G2 train, look at the start of the year when people are like, why even watch the LEC?
True, the Reddit comments. The thing is, we can't burn Rogue too much because they're still going to Worlds for Europe, right? So we can't, like, you know,
sure.
We're going to hold back.
We had more climbing jokes.
We're holding back
We've got plenty.
Solo, but I'm not laning against Odawamne, you know, anything else.
Go back through that.
It's actually great. So, another one. G2 predictions before facing Fnatic. This isn't G2's fault. This is all of the analysts' fault. This was also in front of G2, which...
Look, I would have known. I'm just saying.
So is it G2's fault, or is the fan superstition theory now that they just got very directly cast or cursed heading into this
Yeah,
series?
I think that was it, probably.
Yeah.
Always blame it on us.
Why aren't we on the stage? I feel like...
Because Janko screamed so much that it was a bad idea. Also, the stage is a secret. Then Verius on Euphoria a while ago. I think Rogue will 3-0 Misfits in playoffs.
Wow.
That didn't happen.
No one else said that. That was just Vedius. Everyone
Yeah.
else said it's going to be a really close series. None of us. Wow, just ridiculous.
I love the
Beautiful
picture,
photo.
too. Analysis, insight.
What is this from?
None of the above. That's the answer.
What is this even from? Then Peter Dunn had such a glorious tweet yesterday. He was very confident in Rogue, and I love that he followed it up. So he said, unpopular opinion, Rogue are nowhere near as bad as people think. I think he's right, by the way.
True.
I think because they lost to a strong Mad Lions and Misfits came in with a smart game plan. Fnatic have won 3 series, but frequently looked shaky. Rogue 3-0, maybe 3-1. Ready to eat my words, though.
Yo, the Amato response is a banger.
I
hope you're hungry.
Love it. Yeah, but I love it. You know, I like it. Come out with strong opinions. Doesn't matter.
Frankly, yeah. Because like
Yeah.
I would, what would we do otherwise? Look at the tweets that did age well. That's a super boring.
No,
segment.
we'd be-
Like, please keep making strong takes. We need strong opinions.
Yeah, never want to make a that did age well segment, right? Bland cookie cutter, that is not the LEC. Now, we've seen tons of great moments both on and off the Rift. And I want to take a look at some highlights, starting with some competitive highlights. For me, Misfits' turnaround was nuts, you know, missing the playoffs in spring and then being 1 game win away from Worlds. It is a bit of a heartbreak, but I think we need to celebrate their season as well.
Absolutely do. And I think for domestic seasons looking forward, finally fans can start to have faith in Misfits again, because this is a team that historically, outside of 2017, has failed and failed. So many different superstar lineups falling apart. This, however, is the one that worked, and it looked damn good.
It was fantastic, especially watching the evolution of especially the top side of their map.
Yeah.
From spring split to summer. You know, VTO being a rookie in that spring took a while to find himself. Had some highlight moments, right? We saw like the Zoe right off the bat looked really sick, but then coming into summer, all of a sudden completely different player. Just felt so confident. Razork too was putting on some performances where at a point it was like, is this guy just the best jungler in the LEC right now? It was insane.
It was 3rd in the MVP voting as well, Razork, right? 2 behind Inspired. Really impressive, I think, out of Misfits. Super excited to see, you know, what they do next year. I hope they stick together, but as we know, sometimes that isn't always the way the cookie crumbles. I do want to talk about our top laners as well. Hirit, we already talked about, I think, phenomenal for Misfits, but also Adam winning Rookie of the Split. Broken Blade as well. We've had a wealth of great performances.
Yeah, I feel like for Adam, the actions definitely speak louder than words on this one. Just absolutely stomping in the top lane, even going back to Darius. That's what I love about Adam, is that he feels, in a lot of what he does, he's so selfless as a player, often roaming, leaving his lane, but also knows when to turn the heat on and go for those power picks and make it happen. I mean, Hirit also just put on some absurd performances in the top lane as well. He was another part of that Misfits top side that absolutely crushed.
But I think, again, Broken Blade, a player that I was kind of initially skeptical when he came back to EU, how is he going to perform, had initial solid split, but this split especially, even when everything else was falling apart for Schalke, Broken Blade was so consistently good. And I love seeing this because when Cabochard left, when Vizicachi left, we had all these very iconic top laners, and now it feels like we're finally starting to see the new generation of top laners.
I also think that it's really hard when you have a team that struggles so much, and especially like losing mid-jungle going into the summer split. Like, Schalke did look so much weaker. It's so rare to have a player that almost feels like increases their value over the course of a season. Like the performances Broken Blade was able to do when his team was struggling was absolutely phenomenal to see, and I think he's a really hot prospect going into next year.
Yeah, I hope he stays in Europe. Let me just say that for sure.
We're keeping him.
And on a whole, I think as a competitive note, I think we need to talk about the summer playoffs, which were more unpredictable than ever. I think even if you look at the beginning of the year and maybe our 3 teams ending up at Worlds, someone could have predicted that it might be Rogue, Mad, and Fnatic, but a lot of people would have put G2 in there. Then Misfits came so close. It was really all over the place.
And honestly, it just felt like the regular season had no bearing on what playoffs would look like. You look at G2's 8-1 record in the second half, it did not matter. They crumbled. Rogue 13-5, 3-8 in the playoffs overall. incredible how quickly it turned around. The fact that G2 isn't here, that they aren't a part of a discussion. And again, continuing the fact that this is not a flash in a pan, that G2 aren't just sitting at the top, that is not just Fnatic sitting at the top after they had to fight tooth and nail to get in this final. It's just such a different year for the LEC.
We always talk about chapters, and I think sometimes we push it a bit too much, but this really does feel like we've turned the page, right? Or we're about to turn a page in terms of what we're going to see in terms of power levels in Europe.
100%. I think you see it, obviously, like at the start of the year, it was so much about like Rogue and Mad Lion stepping up in a big way too, but you also see it like individually on teams, right? Like, for example, Fnatic losing Reckless, bringing in Upset, now Upset sort of ascension there as well. It's been incredible to see not just the league, but the teams evolve.
I mean, how good is Vitality? Excel almost making it. There's so much to talk about. We celebrate all our teams, but we also celebrate our fun broadcast moments. We're going to highlight a couple of those. We made some memorable PGLs once again, and one particularly so in spring with Astralis' jungler, Zanza.
I think I like the Scorpion because people in the sea are too greedy to pay taxes. They're literally trying to scam. They're like, haha, I'm AD carry. I need 2 item power spike. I need 3 item power spike. No, and you're dead. How many items you have? If you didn't pay taxes, you are dead. This is how it works. And of course, like versus G2, it doesn't work because G2 understand, okay, they have Skarner, we have to pay taxes, right? But if you play versus Excel, versus Misfits, like this kind of team, they're like, nah, I need power spike, I will not buy USS, and them like, oh, look, flash in. And then, and actually, like some people, because people think and they see everyone know how to like time summoners play the game. No, this is not true. I just buy cooldown boost and they're like, oh, his flash is not 5 minutes, boys. Whoa, he has flash or he doesn't have. We don't know. We should just hug tower. And then it's like passive pressure, mental advantage, and then you can win the game. This is why Scanner is broken.
I couldn't believe it sitting there listening to him because I'm like, that was really funny. Surely it's over here. And he just goes on this whole monologue telling a story. I want him to like follow me around in the real world and just like narrate my life.
My dream is that we get the little Zanzara cam that we throw up after every fight for just like a 5-second Zanzara breakdown. Didn't pay taxes. Thanks, Zanzara.
I mean, he made Trundle meta worldwide, right? We got to give the man credit where credit is due. And speaking of loud junglers, everyone on G2, they have played with Discord on mute this year, I'm sure.
G2! Yeah! G2! Woo! Yeah! Nice! Good job! Yeah! 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 Woo! Woo! Okay. Guys, I got tired from yelling.
I love how he just runs out of gas at the point and he just goes to...
I just like the sheer contrast between screaming 1 second and being like, oh, okay. This isn't, oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He tried his best, I gotta say. I'm gonna miss him in the rest of playoffs, or today rather. We did also have a lot of fun, as always, on the LEC broadcast. So let's take a look back at some of the more comedic moments. I mean, do you ever wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night and realize that they may never win the World Championship again and your whole existence is doomed?
Ouch! Jeez.
Oh my God. I'm gonna come back. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
No, don't throw the stuffed animals. That's horrible. Why are we enabling this?
I'm stuck here with you. I literally asked for Reckless. I asked for Yamato Cannon, all these people, and then, yeah, you can't get them. They're busy. They're scrimming today. You can have Drakos. I'm stuck here with you.
Is it too late to get Reckless, Kevin? I mean, please.
But here comes the thunder and flashes.
No way does he get away! What is happening? How did he get out of this? Wow!
I personally think that Bippo is gonna be like the top jungler in the league. After Elioya, of course, and Inspired. And self-made most likely.
All right, Kadril, any final predictions? Kadril? Hello?
Welcome to Dragon Stats! It is indeed not mental at all!
That was the funniest ka I've ever heard.
Weepy Yee.
You tried, Sjokz. Well played, Yee.
For Sjokz! It's mid lane Nocturne! Is it possible to get Vedius on the desk, please?
Come on. Oh, he's running. He's running. Here we are.
Kave has no mana. Karzi now stepping forward.
On Draven as well. You have no mana.
I am Steve.
Yeah, you cannot say
But I said it in the H2K game like forever ago. H2K, that was beautiful. That's like 90% of my content. I don't have a back. Oh, I have just wasted all of your time. I'm so sorry.
What am I watching right now? What the hell? What was that?
So clueless, bros. What is going on, Buzzer? Oh, this is amazing! You have one player of the game. Thank you so much.
Cage was vibing. We're vibing. It's a jam.
Explosions! Woo! Boo, 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 ba, 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 ba. Yeah, baby. Woo!
Laure, I am setting my expectations too high for the LEC. That's my fault. That's my fault.
0-4-0 for Promise Q. Is that a slap in the face?
It's tough.
It's rough. It's really rough.
It is most certainly rough.
Okay, let's go. Dude. Let's go. It's going to be a good year.
2021 has sucked so far, man.
Wow. Well, hello. Welcome. Thanks for bearing with those breaks.
Fires it across Odomne, and Odomne used all his bursts, and SLT still has the scissors, so you're still cutting him.
2021, AD carries suck. No, they don't, they're great. And then you have these Moonstone Manures, Staff of Flowing Water top laners coming in and stealing our support items, they're mine. You're just trying to short my stock, and then I've got a message for you guys. The supports, listen to me, hold the line. Hold the line, we've got diamond hands, we're going to the moon supports, okay? Hold the line, keep the items, keep the items!
Damn, these captures are self-indulgent.
A faker, holy shit! Nice! Oh my god!
Thanks for making Viego riot.
We'll see you in a moment.
Oh my god! Why would you do that?
Oh, man.
Why would he do that?
Why would he do that? Oh, it's so great seeing that all again. I think, you know, sometimes I think we keep the people at home who are stuck in lockdown sane with all our content, but they actually keep us sane because you can make this content for the content.
Oh yeah, I'm for sure going insane if I can't
do
make
that.
it all.
Treatz, welcome. Also, thank you for joining me as we continue into this Reddit check, and we're going to get gradually a bit more serious, right? And there's something I want to bring up, which is so important for the European scene. Here's your close-up. Every single year, we see more and more players take the leap from EU Masters to the LEC. And in finals weekend, 8 out of 15 players have made the journey from EU Masters to LEC playoffs. And the next stop is Worlds. And that's just great. You know, that is the way it's supposed to work with the regional league streets. But it's really incredible how many rookies keep finding their way to the finals weekend.
Yeah, definitely, it's crazy. They're 8 out of 15. That's a lot of players. So I think it's just every player in EU Masters, especially on the top teams, know that if they perform, then they can make it to the LEC. And I think this is the proof in the pudding, right? They can, if you make it, you can make it far in LEC as well. So it's really cool to see, and all the players are super hyped to play in EU Masters.
I mean, Adam just won EU Masters this spring. Karzi and Trimby have a title, and these are the new LEC superstars. I was thinking about this the other day, that we're always so sad that NA takes a lot of our players and throws money at them. But that's actually the reason why our scene is so successful, because the rookies keep coming up.
Yeah, you know, I'll take it. If we get more Elyoyas in the mix, more Adams, all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so dope to see just the EU Masters legacy and the regional leagues. It just makes you very excited for the future and also the present of the teams.
It really does. Honestly, it is shocking that every year we always have that brief little panic, and it's like, no, we're actually fine.
We're actually fine. It's great. You can watch the next LEC rookies in action at this summer's EU Masters. The group stage is going to start tomorrow. I know, no rest. Here is a small preview for that.
He's gonna flash in, and he steals the Baron! One of the quickest games in competitive history. How did that connect my engine? Shockwave on to 4!
The next month are packed with League of Legends. Tonight we have the LEC finals, then it's time for the EU Masters, and after that we're kicking off Worlds 2021 in Europe. So let's take a look at the competition there. Yesterday, Damwon Kia continued their run of back-to-back-to-back finals and another LCK trophy. They will also be at Worlds 2021 to defend their title as the first seed from the LCK. This finals was rather one-sided as T1 only managed to win one game and showed some improvements, but also some mid-game weaknesses. The LCK is sending a very strong first seed led by fantastic jungler Canyon, but also Khan, who during an emotional interview yesterday announced that this would be his last competitive title before joining the military next year. He will also have some extra motivation to win Worlds, especially now that his former team FPX also joined the party. For now, we have Damwon, Genji, and T1 qualified from the LCK. The last seed will be decided through the regional qualifier later this month. Now over to the LPL, because last week everything was still up in the air, but we have some concrete news for now. Earlier this week, FunPlus Phoenix beat LNG, and with that victory, they have qualified for Worlds 2021. We will get to see Super Carry doing it on stage once again with his crazy and unique style, but we also get to see current world champion and FPX top player Nogori face off against his former team Damwon. As of now, we are still waiting for the complete seeding of the LPL teams, and we will know more on September 2nd after the LPL finals between FPX and EDG, who are both locked at Worlds 2021. Let's move across the Atlantic to the LCS, where we know for sure that 100 Thieves and Team Liquid will go straight to the Worlds group stage as they are facing later tonight in the summer finals. Cloud9 already qualified last week with an epic battle against TSM, which means that we will have an EU reunion with some old friends. Last time Sven made Worlds was back in 2017 with G2, but he also reached semifinals with Origin in 2015. And this year, he's once again joined by the former duo partner Mithi, who is the coach of C9, and of course, the one and only Umayan. C9's loss yesterday against the 100 Thieves mean that, like Rogue, they will have to go through the playing stage this time and fight for a spot in the group stage. A couple words on the other regions. Earlier this week, PSG Talon and Beyond Gaming qualified to represent the PCS, and Infinity Esport are also back to defend Latin America. And that's all on the Worlds 2021 update for now, but be sure to follow the regional finals to know more about the Worlds competitor. And Sjokz, back to you.
Thank you so much, Laure. Flawless breakdown once again. Thank you for always keeping us up to date. The field is stacked. Let's just say that. I love it. Worlds is in the air. That does lead us to a bit of a discussion about our teams at Worlds. As you guys know, the 2021 World Championship will take place in Europe. Our representatives are Mad and Rogue and Fnatic. Let's talk a little bit about their chances. I know it's difficult because you don't know how they're going to perform in 1 month. Maybe let's start with the Mad Lions because we have some tape internationally from them.
Yeah, I think Mad Lions came into MSI. People had their doubts after getting knocked out in the play-in stage at Worlds last year, but I think they absolutely cast those off, had a really solid showing at that tournament. I think they've only improved on that going into the summer split, right? Again, a little bit shaky at the start, but now that we've gotten towards the back half and into playoffs, their decision-making in-game, in those split-second moments where you have to choose instantly, like, they're such a complete unit in how they go about, you know, their entire game plan and how they can attack, and I liken them a lot to, like, when G2, when they were strong internationally, in their mid-games especially, right? When they were all on the same page and going for this, and it's one of the reasons why I thought G2 was so strong back then, and I do feel confident in Mad Lions in having a very solid performance at Worlds because of that.
I think we can be positive and hopeful about them, but it doesn't always go as planned, you know? So let's hope for a good group, even as first or second seed. I also want to talk about Fnatic, who showed, we have to remember, they went through the lower bracket, but they were actually very strong in the best of ones throughout summer. It was at the end that it didn't work out that well. How do you think they're going to arrive in specifically the best of one stage in the group stage?
I think they have shown that they're a bit more shaky in the best of one than best of fives. I think that's a fair point to make. But now they've also had so many games in playoffs, so maybe they will be a bit less shaky in the best of one. So I think we have to see, but I think with the experience that they've gotten, they will be a bit more sharp in the best of one and not have these random int moments that they've had in the past.
I think a big point of contention is then our third team that will be going through the play-ins. Rogue, very solid in best of ones. I mean, they are the regular season kings, but in the best of fives, it doesn't work out. How do you see them bouncing back come Worlds and come play-ins?
Well, I think Bwipo was super insightful on PGL last night, sort of talking about how some of the bad habits of this team have been exploited by other teams. And I think that for Rogue in particular, the one thing, if they take any learnings from playoffs, they need to get back to is figuring out what made their mid-jungle work so well in the past. Because it wasn't that long ago that we were saying Inspired plus Larssen, the best mid-jungle in the league back in spring. It was so fantastic from them. And I feel like the way perhaps they draft as well as play around the mid lane doesn't really enable Larssen to do much. He sort of is fine to chill in the mid lane, and it really makes the rest of the map start to fall flat when teams challenge them around that position.
I think they have a lot of homework. They go through play-ins, and maybe that'll be very good for them. But let's dive into the two teams that are playing the final today. Now, for the Mad Lions, this year has been all about breaking barriers. I think winning their first LEC trophy, succeeding on the international stage, I think getting to the semifinals and challenging Dom1 is a success by any measure for this roster. They would be the fourth team. They are the fourth team, rather, to win an LEC title, and only the third team they would be to win a back-to-back title in Europe.
Yeah, I think Mad Lions have been impressive since last year, and I think it just looks like they're getting stronger and stronger in mid-game, and I think right now that's how the meta is played, and whoever wins a lot of team fights just wins the game, and they've just shown time after time that they're the most solid team fight team in Europe, and it will be fun to watch them in the Worlds.
Ender, what do you think it is about the Mad Lions specifically that made them from people thinking it is a flash in the pan to making the right decisions and peaking again in summer and now right before Worlds?
I think it's once again sort of proving themselves in the elements that made them so strong in spring, because even in spring they were doubted. They didn't have a great regular season, and it was only in playoffs, and especially like getting that reverse sweep against Rogue where they were able to battle back. And I think a lot of that comes to them playing from a deficit and still managing to find wins. How they're able to find their fights. Kaiser getting in on flanks, kicking those things off. The way the team all work together as a unit is really impressive to watch and has been super successful for them.
And Treatz, of course, the coaching staff being very vocal about the fact that, yes, you may laugh at our quotes about burnout and which I think is completely ungrounded, because you see it now. The coaching staff said, no, we're not going to push you as hard so that you can peak in the summer split and in the playoffs, and you only can commend that approach.
Yeah, I think it's very respectable that they took some break time in the start to split and didn't really start that strong, but now you can obviously see that it worked out in the end, and their aim was on playoffs and making finals and winning again, and I think that their plan worked, right? Even though they had some, like the burnout in the start of the season, I think they're coming stronger and stronger by the end of the playoffs.
And I feel like on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, you have Fnatic, who have now played 18 games in playoffs after their 3-0 yesterday, and it's almost like when you play that many games that quickly as a team that's really starting to get into the groove, start feeling themselves as well, you're not burning out, you're burning, you're hot, you're feeling good. It is awesome to see, and I feel like the momentum that they're carrying with themselves, the confidence that they can renew after winning these games in insane best of fives as well, it's incredible.
Yeah, Treatz, as a pro player yourself, can you speak to what you feel when you're on a roll, when you win a couple of games, or in this case, win those game fives in the playoffs?
Yeah, it feels so good to have this momentum that Fnatic does, and I've had it sometimes in the past as well, where everything just clicks and you just keep winning, and it just feels like the snowball is becoming bigger and bigger, and now it's in the final, so we'll have to see if it can roll over the Mad Lions.
Yeah, we'll see all of the accolades that they can kind of successfully end if they do win the trophy. The first team to ever win 3 game fives, the first team to ever win 4 best fives, the first team to ever go through every team, the first team to ever go from 5th seed, first team to win every single best of 5 from the lower bracket. It's almost too much, we'll see. But if we look at the bigger picture for Fnatic, like we did for the Mad Lions, where the Mad Lions have a story of development over the last 2 years, Fnatic have a history that harkens back all the way to the start of competitive League of Legends.
Yeah, this is an organization that goes back so far, and I feel like you've seen so many different iterations, right? The Huni Reignover, of course, even versions without Reckless in the past as well. But now that we are transitioning into such a brand new Fnatic, a Fnatic that have, look to upset now, you know, as another star AD carry to put into this roster. The role change of Bwipo going into the jungle, Adam, a fresh new top laner, rookie in that position as well. It is a very new look from Fnatic, a Fnatic that teams and fans doubted, frankly, but now they have proven everyone wrong.
Yeah, and what I love also about Fnatic specifically, much like the spirit we also see in the Mad Lions, is they go for scouting. They go for risks on rookies. We have to remember, they also discovered Caps back in the day, right? Through the scouting, and now Adam is a good example.
Caps, Bwipo.
Bwipo really working on those rosters in order to keep building it, and it's hard when you're competing with Mad, with Rogue, with G2, and for that, I think it's phenomenal that they find themselves now with this iteration of the roster Treatz back in a final.
Yeah, I mean, it's really insane. I didn't expect that they would make it this far with the roster changes that they had. I don't think anyone did, and it's just super impressive because it feels like these players are just playing better together than what they have in the past, and that's always cool to see. I think when things click, they really click hard for Fnatic.
Final narrative hit. I know, you know, we talk a lot about our wonderful stories, but they are wonderful stories. I mean, the OGs versus the new kids on the block, right? It really is today, and either of them would be a wonderful summer champion. But for more on the Fnatic playoffs run, let's go behind the scenes with Bwipo during their series versus G2. Over the past years, Fnatic and G2, they have been staples on the international stage, and tonight one of them will fall.
They've had to fight their way through Vitality, through Misfits, and now through the Titan that is G2 Esports, going the full 5 games in every single series. Fnatic have fought tooth and nail to get to this point.
Tonight, one of these Titans will fall as they battle to keep the 2021 season going.
We're a better and smarter team because we went through 15 games together, and we made the most out of it. Going into the series, Yamato for weeks already, even against Misfits, against Vitality, he just looked at all of us and told us, it's in your hands. Just look at your hands. It's in there. I think that's the magic of Fnatic versus G2. No one can put their finger on it. Split isn't over yet. I role swapped to do better. I role swapped to win the split. I lost 2 years in a row, and then I was 5th. And I got sick of it, you know. I don't want to do worse. I want to do better. Making it the Worlds is staying on course.
So we are going to a final game to decide who is going to Worlds.
I want people to think of my name and be like, this guy changed to who he wanted to be. He changed what role he played, how he played the role, what champions he played. I want to win. I want to do more. I want to show people that it's not just a fight for 3rd place. Rogue will be 1st, then it'll be Mad Lions, and I'm sure that if we play our best game, we will give anyone a run for their money.
Collapse quickly, but Jankos is down before G2 can get in there, and now the flank is on, the Realm War comes out. Bwipo with the pillar! Bwipo stops G2's retreat right in its tracks!
You don't calculate everything, you just have a really good idea of like, this should be good. That was a pillar. I flashed pillar, and I was like, feels like it's gonna be good.
I'm hitting Huge, guys. Huge.
Fnatic make it through to Worlds!
The most difficult part about going into the finals week next week is this felt like a finals. Like, I didn't think I was good enough to make it. I proved everyone that doubted us wrong. Everyone doubted us. 3-2 Vitality, 3-2 Misfits, 3-2 G2, and that's all she wrote, right? Honestly, after this series, I just realized, like, I have so much more to give. I'm not done yet. Coming into this split, I role swapped with the intent of doing better, right? I didn't leave top lane after such a bad split to eat and drop out as 5th again. I role swapped because I wanted to do better, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be pivotal for my team to make a change, right? Usually I get mentioned in negative connotation, you know, me and Hylissang, the art of inting. But I want people to look at us and be like, holy shit, these guys, they're not here to lose.
I'll say it for you. Holy shit. Fnatic and Bwipo and Hylissang and the way that they have run through this lower bracket, it's crazy. But we got to start looking at what's actually probably going to happen in game, because in the series we have very diverse teams, 2 of them, who have shown very different styles throughout the playoffs. I want to pull up some draft and some tendencies from both teams, and I want to start by Fnatic series versus Rogue. Treatz, tell me, what is Fnatic's recipe for success?
I think they've shown a lot of diversity. So in this series, it was more so playing for their top side. Adam had a lot of aggressive champs, you could say, and Niski had a lot of kind of stable mages, so I think they just wanted to make sure that Adam was fine in the game and then a help bot after, and I think it's a style that we didn't really see from them before, but it worked out for them really well in this series.
Yeah, I think there's another element here too that's super key for them, and that's like the effective range that you can engage fights from with this team too. When you consider a Camille, a Realm Warp, a Rakan in a couple of games for Hylissang too. Fnatic are a team, and Mad Lions are too, but Fnatic are a team that see fights and are always going to jump and try to take them. So by giving yourself tools like hookshot, like the quickness from Hylissang's Rakan, it enables you to punish teams even more for their missteps.
Prioritization of engage and gap closing and moving around the map over winning lanes, and I think a lot of clutch decision making in the mid game, but that is exactly what Mad Lions excel at as well, right, Treatz? So it's fair to say that Fnatic won't have an as easy time if they do come behind, if they do not get as big of an early game lead versus the Mad Lions today.
Yeah, they have a lot of stylistic similarities where they have a lot of champs that just like to fly forward even though they might have a deficit from lane. So it will be fun to see today who really gets these go-in champs and who can make them work the best, because I think that's what both teams will go for, and it will be a bloodbath.
With that, maybe let's pull up some of the Mad drafts in their games versus Rogue, because the same opponent, so we can kind of read into their plans similarly. And I see a lot of the same elements, I gotta say.
Yeah, I think a big one, again, is looking at mid lane and these global champions, the Rise, the Twisted Fate, another option for either Humanoid or Niski. So in this element, I do feel like so much of the series will come down to mid lane priority, getting picks like a Rise, like a TF, and then using that to explode side lanes, because these two teams love to dive your towers if they have a mid lane champion that can move.
And the question is, have we seen the edges of the champion pools for both teams? And I think not. I think when I think about Fnatic and Mad Lions specifically, they are teams that can get creative once they get banned out in one or the other lane, right? And I want to look specifically at the top lane. We have Adam versus Armut, and this is something that has never happened when we have used this graphic. They don't share any champions on this patch specifically, but in summer.
Yeah, and this is the patch, by the way. So from week 8 through playoffs, haven't matched anything. And I think one thing you're going to see is Adam, while he's played a ton of champions, they're fairly similar stylistically, right? A lot of melee bruisers. You have some more tankier options like perhaps a Mundo or a Cho'Gath, but for the most part, you're gonna have champions that are really good at fighting, both in lane and out of lane in team fights, whereas Armut has shown a little bit more depth in terms of like range top laners, things like the Gnar and like the Jace in particular that can look to just push and hit tower.
But when I look at this, then I think, all right, you're not going to be able to ban out Adam, but I think you could make a dent in Armut's champion pool. But is that a mistake a lot of teams have made before?
I mean, it's been spoken about so much, and I think it factually holds true, but it just seems hard because there's just too many people to try to ban out on Mad Lions, right? Like, maybe you can lower Armut's champ pool a bit, but doesn't really matter. Like, he would just play Jace or GP, and maybe it's a bit worse on those champs, but then the rest of the team looks like so much better. So I think it's kind of hard to say, but it's definitely something that they could look to do.
Also, let's not forget that on this patch, I think Adam's played 21 games with playoffs, whereas Armut has played 10. So I don't feel like Armut has a huge champion pool weakness when we're comparing them. I think it's more impressive that Adam has played 21 champions and hasn't picked any of those. That's really telling.
That's actually nuts indeed. And Adam willing to give up his lane in order to help the team. I think Armut has similar strengths as well, willing to let that Wukong maybe fall behind in lane, but engage when the team needs him most. And I think that is where we need to talk about Mad Lions' mid-game. We touched on it already when we look at it in comparison to Fnatic's, but this is, I think, why people are so much on the Mad Lions hype train, right? And today's going to be such a good test to see if it was just that they ran into teams that didn't play that way to their strengths, or if they are really better, specifically than Fnatic in that mid-game as well.
Yeah, the team fights will be the deciding factor of the series, and I think both teams have shown a lot of positives. I think Mad Lions have shown slightly less negatives than Fnatic maybe in the team fights, but both teams are really explosive in team fights and they're not scared at all. If they have the tools, they just go forward and go for it, so it'll be super fun to watch.
What are some of these negatives you mentioned for Fnatic?
I think for Fnatic, they still have this over-eagerness sometimes from a few players where they just like to go in when you don't really have to. They can be a bit more patient, and I think throughout playoffs they've gone a bit more patient, so I think that's a plus for them, but I think they still have a bit more yeah, they can be a bit too fast on the trigger compared to Mad Lions.
I also think there's a bit of an element with Fnatic where I'm a little bit more concerned that they might get picked off while they're trying to find a flank, and that's one thing that I think Kaiser is so insane at. Yeah. This guy is able to find flanks without almost ever getting caught out of position, walking into Fog of War, getting slammed down or anything like this. And I think it is that element for Mad Lions where you know going into it, this team doesn't make a lot of mistakes when it comes to the team fight setup, and that is fantastic going into BO5s.
Absolutely. I mean, the matchup against Hilly is just finger-licking good as well. And speak of the devil, we're soon going to break down how Mad managed to find these insane comebacks. But first, we're going to get some thoughts from their support.
Thank you, Sjokz and Kaiser. Thank you so much for joining me ahead of your game. Big day for the Mad Lions defending their title. But do you feel stronger than in spring given the journey that you had? The fact that you guys had to bounce back after MSI, how strong do you feel right now?
I mean, for sure. I think we're like kind of peaking right now. I think you saw against Rogue that like our style is still working and like that we are like for sure in like our best form right now. And I think the same goes for Fnatic. I think they look really like strong, right? And yeah, I'm happy that we can match against these strong opponents in the final right now. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be an epic battle. And you mentioned Fnatic. Actually, they played 4 best-of-5 series before arriving here today against you. So what's your take on Fnatic right now with how strong they look? And do you feel like we saw everything from them? Because after having played 4 best-of-5 series, I'm wondering if they have some tricks up their sleeves left.
So at the start I was like kind of doubtful because like their series were like really messy and like were really close against like even weaker opponents, right? But I think like the longer the playoffs went, the stronger they got kind of, and now I feel like they're like really like a really strong team, and I think they really deserve being here in the finals. So yeah, I think maybe they have like shown a lot. I mean, I think they've shown like most of their tricks up their sleeves, right? I think it's hard to not show them like in 4 best-of-5s, right? So I think we are like really prepared for them, and I think we kind of know what to expect from them, so we should be at an advantage.
I think it's interesting because every time I talk to Fnatic players, they keep on saying that we found our style finally through playoffs. When you look at Fnatic play, what strikes you the most, and what is the biggest difficulty when facing Fnatic right now?
I mean, I think the best thing that Fnatic does is like just playing as a unit, I would say, because I think that's what also like we are strong at, is like just being on the same page every single like time, on every single engage, on every single objective, stuff like this, right? I think they really look in sync when they're at their best, and I feel like yeah, that's what they're really good at, is just being on the same page and like just like going in at the same time, and yeah, I think they've done a really good job at like syncing up together, and yeah, I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor in this match as well.
Yeah, and it makes me think that team fights, mid-game moments are going to be what we want to look at today, especially against you, which is interesting because looking at Mad Lions, like Spring, it feels like you thrive through chaos and you make the best plays out of the most chaotic opportunities. What makes you so good in these moments?
I mean, I think we kind of, maybe it looks chaotic. I think we still have like some semblance of like order, I would say. Like we still know what to do in each game, right? I think that's what we are like good at. We know what to do in each situation, kind of, and we know how to come back, right? I think that's like one of our biggest strengths. So I think we like in each situation we just try to like stay calm, stay focused, and like look for the opportunities that can maybe bring us back into the game. And I feel like even if it looks chaotic, I think that's just our like style of team fighting and stuff like this, right? So yeah, I think that's just our like one of our strengths.
Control the chaos. Well, Kaiser, thank you so much for these insights. Best of luck today in finals against Fnatic. I'll let you go back to your team. And for more on Mad Lions team fights and how they come back, let's send it over to videos.
Thank you very much, Laure. Always great to hear from Kaiser. But today, we're going to look at what it is that Mad does to make comebacks a reality. The simple and straightforward answer is they're very proactive regardless of the situation. The slightly more complex answer is the way in which they use a 5-stack to punish mistakes. Let's bring up some replays to break down this exactly. So, let's start with our first replay in their series Game 3 between Mad and Rogue. In this situation, what you'll see is that Mad, let's start by bringing up the minimap, is being pressured on this bot lane tower. All the other tier 2s have been taken down, but they're looking to threaten this one on the bottom. Gangplank is about to go back to base, and Jace is sitting here but does have the teleport ready. The crucial thing to notice is this ward right behind. Mad recognize that this is actually a great opportunity for them to get a numbers advantage because the Gangplank is going to go back to base before Jace will. So this gives them an opportunity to try and force a fight. Knowing that they have the Ash Arrow and Rogue recognizing that the collapse is coming through, this forces the engage from the Mad Lions. Now you have to recognize that in this whole situation, this is a 4 versus 5. Only now does the teleport come through from the Jace, and you notice that even though Mad is at such a massive deficit, what they're leveraging is their numbers advantage to actually get a pretty good trade. Now, they still end up losing this fight, but considering the position that they're in, this is actually a great situation for them to actually come out in a 3-for-4 trade. So in this fight, we can see that Mad tried to find what could be best described as a 30-70 play. If they don't make this play, things are only going to get worse for them, and this is the best window they have to create a 5v4 fight. Remember that gold is shared across people, so if you fight as 5 versus their 4, suddenly they have a lot less gold until their 5th joint. Let's have a look at another example of them doing the same thing. So here, once again, you have a look at the minimap. You'll notice that Twisted Fate is down in the bot lane. This time, though, doesn't actually have his teleport available, neither does the Jace. Now, while the Jace has just pushed in this bot wave, he's going to be hovering around the river, and that means that this 3-man collective in the river is a prime opportunity for this Ashe and this squad to attack again. And notice how Mad is staying as a 5-man unit. So they have the 4-man collapsing from the top side of the map after pushing in that wave. They have the Ashe Arrow primed and ready to go, and they use it immediately on this mid lane. And again, they're utilizing their numbers advantages. They're utilizing their globals because they recognize that even at a gold deficit, they can find a good pick by just simply using 5 versus 4. They end up coming up massive in this team fight, and they're just buying themselves more time. So in summary, Mad use their 5-man stack and the tools of their champions to punish a small window where Rogue oversteps, which again buys more time for Mad to scale and come back into the game. The thing about this play specifically is it didn't dramatically swing the game, but it was another narrow window where Mad could make something happen. And again, they use numbers and good awareness to find the play. Finally, let's have a look at this last clip, which sealed the nail in the coffin. So in this situation, what they're doing is they've just lost Baron. They tried to make a play happen top lane, and it didn't go well. But Mad Lions did get a kill onto Odoamne, and you'll notice that he is still dead without teleport. But with the 4th Drake spawning very soon, Mad saying, well, you know what, we have 5 people, we can actually contest this, and Rogue make the mistake of trying to fight them 4v5. So Mad, again, having this great map awareness and knowing that they have a numbers advantage, look to try and force the fight. They recognize the position of Larson, Humanoid steals away the Leona ultimate, and without hesitation, they force the engage. They combine the Gangplank ultimate with the amount of CC that they have at their disposal, and they're able to find pick after pick after pick, and they're able to use their high single target damage to just melt through the Rogue lineup, securing themselves the soul and basically getting them back into the game. Of course, this wasn't the game-deciding fight, and many more fights happened. This was one of the most influential fights, though, in the game because you could see where the momentum shifted so heavily. Rogue making such a crucial mistake is what Mad kept looking for, and every play they made was building up to a moment like this, one where they could swing the momentum back in their favor and control the game. Mad are a scary team because they don't give up and don't give you a moment to breathe. Like a hungry lion, they're always on the hunt, and you never know which brush they'll pounce from. Now, let's send it back to Sjokz.
Thank you so much, Vedi. That was a wonderful breakdown of exactly what makes the Mad Lions so scary. So now we arrive, Treatz, in a situation where Mad have a lot of tape of Fnatic, right? And I think a lot of people would characterize Fnatic as well as a team that can excel on the enemy's mistakes. If you're Fnatic and you assume Mad, the current champions, are a bit better in that department, what is the strategy you take? Do you try and match the aggression?
I think it really depends on how confident Fnatic are in that they can outmatch the Mad Lions team fights. I think, yeah, it depends on a lot of confidence, but I would say that you could also maybe try to go for some more early game style that they've shown in the past as well, with this like strong bot lane, because Karja and Kaiser try to go for a lot of scaling, so you can maybe punish that if you want to. But I think honestly it's up to Fnatic to just check their confidence level and check, like, do they think they can beat them in a team fight actually? And then if they want to match that, go for it and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then yeah, they have more games to try different stuff and more early games. So I think, yeah, it really depends. But I think they should start with matching this late game team fight style that Mad also have.
And I think for me personally, when it comes to like prepping a series like this, more is going to be relying on like finding out the tendencies of your opponent in game than like in the draft. Because at the end of the day, I think both teams draft fairly similarly overall. So when I see this, I'm like, okay, Mad Lions are watching Adam in playoffs all of a sudden be the super selfless player, often roaming down towards mid. That's something Humanoid has to keep an eye on, because when things start going poorly for Fnatic, the way they come back is, okay, let's send a lot of people into the mid lane. We're going to gain prio there, and then we can fix things from onwards. Mad Lions, on the other hand, are a team that, well, often will look to like dive their side lane towers and these sorts of things. So it's about learning the tendencies of your opponents and finding out how to exploit that.
Great point, and it all starts in the mid lane, the mid jungle, of course. And I think Nisqy and Humanoid have been standout performers for their teams. And I think you can even start a discussion of who's the best mid in Europe out of this series. So we're going to ask you at home as well, who is the best mid laner in EU right now, Nisqy or Humanoid? Spam now in chat. And when you look at the stories of these two mid laners as well, Humanoid, from the class of Nemesis, from the class of Abadaga, starting on Splice, I think when people had a lot of hype for him, he ended up being middle of the pack, developing, but now he's slowly risen up as possibly the best mid in Europe.
Look, he was a player that went from like, oh, this is a very promising rookie that makes a lot of mistakes, to this is an established, very strong player that still makes a lot of mistakes. But this year, it's been different. I feel like he has completely come into his element in the laning phase, and we see far less of the mistakes of him going into a side lane, the dies, all those memes. No, this is a player that takes over games, and that is super scary to go up against here in the finals.
Oh, absolutely. He's also able to control that mid lane, roam to where his team needs it. And I might as well be talking about Nisqy when I say that, Treatz. But Nisqy also incredible, coming back from NA, and of course, I gotta stand my Belgian bro in Nisqy, but incredible and so often overlooked, right? Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy that he came back, and I think he had a pretty slow start in EU as well, but I think especially in this playoffs, he's just playing like a beast. Honestly, he's had a lot of insane performances, and even though he had the TF and the Rise a lot and he smurfed on those, I think even on the Casio he showed that he can pop off. So I think both of these mids are playing like at their peak right now, and it will be exciting to watch the series.
Let's pull up the champion pool, because in terms of in top lane, it not crossing over. In the mid lane, we see a lot of similarities, a lot of TF, a lot of Rise, a lot of Silas as well, and LeBlanc.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly looking at the globals first, like the Silas is an answer even into things like that Rise there. But both, mid laners do have like the lane bully champions, the Syndra, the Lucian, as an example. The more scaling, team fight stuff like a Victor. It feels like there's a lot of depth here between both players. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is a series where either TF Rise are getting banned every game, or we're seeing it traded a lot.
Yeah, you see how it goes from, okay, global ultimates into how fast can they dash so they can go across the map to how fast can they, Lucian can dash forward, whatever, just anything that can gap close and that can get to the fights quicker.
Honestly, I just had a super random thought, but I think it's awesome for Nisqy, because we talked about how he was sort of slow to ramp up, and like in playoffs, he's really stepped into his element. I remember when I first joined the league and he was playing in mid lane. First of all, the Casio was always a favorite, but this was a guy that always turned it on in playoffs, and I feel like that's exactly what we're seeing, and how he's risen to the occasion to face off against Humanoid today.
Discord is voting for Nisqy, 58% versus 42% for the side of Humanoid. We will see. We also need to talk about the jungle. I want to give us enough times for predictions so you can really build on it. So let's talk about the jungle and then get to that. Elyoya versus Bwipo. I think Bwipo, it's hard to steal the headlines from Bwipo, right? Because he has that incredible swap into the jungle. But when we look at the way they have gone through their year, right? Think back to Bwipo, 2018, 2 championships in Europe, semi-final at MSI, world final berth. Elyoya, first year in the LEC, rookie of the split, 2 championships, semifinals at MSI, question mark?
Honestly, exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. 2 of them, 3 of them, toss in a bunch, because this guy, from the second he took foot on the LEC stage, has just been turning heads completely. He went into the finals last split up against Inspired, unanimously the best jungler in Europe, absolutely rose to the occasion, matched him at every turn. I feel like we are continuing to see that from him. I also feel like both of these 2 junglers, but as like a new jungler on the LEC stage and Bwipo being completely new to the role, are completely uninhibited. It is very rare you see junglers that are as willing, just like full steam ahead, sprint into the enemy jungle and start looking for fights. And yet that is what we've seen from Elyoya all year long, and especially from Bwipo come playoffs time. The man is out for blood.
Absolutely, Treatz. When you hear roll swap, you did it yourself. You know how difficult it is. It's just insane how this guy was in the top lane. He played bot for a while as well, and now
everywhere.
he is top performer in the jungle.
Yeah, I thought he would do really well in jungle just from the way he plays the game and the way he plays with Hylissang, and I think he's just shown like time and time again that he can do anything in the jungle and he can go really ham, and in playoffs he looks like almost the most confident jungle, I would say. I think Elyoya has showed some weaknesses here and there, and so has Bwipo, but Bwipo looks like definitely he's out for blood and he's really hungry for this title.
And so central in the team's plans as we get the stats up as well, because you might say, wow, Elyoya is absolutely crushing it. He is. They lost only one game, right? But I think if you look at the context of the amount of best of fives that Fnatic has played, that's also crazy.
Yeah, so this is just from playoffs, and for Bwipo, you have to remember that Fnatic have lost a lot of games in playoffs because they've gone to a lot of game 5s too. So I think it is super impressive, the stats he's been able to put up, been involved in so many kills, both him and Elyoya. Look at that, K plus 815, 4.6 for Elyoya, 4.2 for Bwipo, and the kill participation too, completely through the roof. It's amazing.
Crazy. There's a couple of players we haven't mentioned yet. We had an hour, we still didn't have enough, and I think that goes to show how stacked this final is, how incredible the stories are on both sides. Will it be Fnatic or will it be the Mad Lions back to back? Your predictions, gentlemen.
Oh man, I've honestly been bouncing back and forth all day long because I feel like this is going to be such a close series that was going to come down to just brutal fighting the entire time. We are in for a complete bloodbath here today, but I feel like there's some kind of magic in the air, and I am going to go with a Fnatic 3-2 vote. This could easily be a 3-0 either direction, but close games are inbound, and I think that Fnatic, the ramp up they've had over playoffs, Adam completely stepping into his own, Bwipo has been on fire. This team is going to fight through mid hard, and it's going to be awesome to watch.
Treatz.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, it's going to be awesome. I think still Mad Lions are so sharp that I can't count them out, so I'm going to say 3-1 for Mad Lions, and I think it will be close games, as you said, Ender, but I think Mad Lions are a bit sharper today.
It's difficult, right? I feel like Treatz has been the oracle. He's had a lot of predictions, right? But you can just
He also voted Fnatic every time, so.
He did. Maybe that's it. Discord voted 3-2 for Fnatic, and in general, I think it speaks to how close we think these teams, how evenly they are matched today, and how they are going into these really epic finals and historic finals in the LEC. It's been one hell of a summer season. Mad Lions and Fnatic, they have had an amazing run in the summer playoffs, and today they've arrived at the final stop on their journey, the fight for the LEC title.